All right, guys, today we are going to talk about solving one-step equations. Again, this is another skill I hope you've seen before. It is something that you were introduced to in 7th grade, but it's really going to lay the foundation for us. So this first unit is all about solving equations, and then we'll talk about solving inequalities. But we're going to get to several steps. So we're going to start with one step today, then we'll move on to two step, then we'll do three, four, up to 5 steps. So I know that some of these are easy. Some of them you don't feel like you need to show your work. But I really, really strongly feel that you need to, especially because once you get to 3-step equations, it's not easy to guess the answer anymore. So showing your work now is laying the foundation for later. So even if you feel like it's silly, you already know the answer. You don't need to. Trust me, I've been doing this for 7 years now. It'll pay off in the long run. So I've set up my notes so that it looks like notebook paper. I want your notes to look like mine. And when we are finished, you should be writing everything on our screen in addition to what I write with you. Okay, so your title for today is solving one-step equations. I would start a new page and put that title at the very top. Again, I strongly encourage that you use the front and back of your paper if you need to, so that your spiral lasts longer. All right, so your title for today, one more time, is solving one-step equations. And then this is our first problem. Also, you're going to see these lines. I think this really helps you see the two sides of your equation, because if you remember in 7th grade, whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So it helps you see your two sides. So again, showing your work is required. Okay, I need you to show your work. It's going to help you in the long run. The line is not required, but I think it's very helpful. So when I'm grading your work, like let's say it's a quiz and I'm grading it, I will be looking for your work. Okay, I expect to see your work. You would not lose any sort of points if you don't draw the line, but again, I strongly suggest it. I think it's very helpful. So here, our first problem is x minus 7 equals negative 6. When you are solving equations, you have to do the opposite. So here, if you're subtracting 7, to move this to the other side, I need to add 7 to both sides. Okay, that will get rid of this. Negative 7 plus 7 is 0. That's why it goes away, because they make a 0. So on this side, I still have x. On this side, negative 6 plus 7, those are different signs, so we take the difference. The difference is 1. Sign of the bigger, our bigger is positive, so our answer is positive. Okay, again, you can always double check this in a calculator, but if you know or are good with those integer operations, then you're quicker without one. All right, but on it, again, I'm going to say this a lot, but something like a quiz or a test, always double check yourself. You can also always plug this back in. 1 minus 7 equals negative 6. That's correct. Okay, this is negative 6. So you can always check if you're right as well. So moving on, our next problem is 1 equals w plus 6. So I'm trying to get w all by itself. Sometimes it's even helpful if you highlight what you're trying to isolate. It's connected by addition, so we're going to do the opposite and subtract 6 from both sides. Here we have different signs, so we take the difference. The difference is 5. Our bigger was negative, so our answer is negative. Negative 5 equals w. Again, you can check yourself. Negative 5 plus 6 is 1. So since 1 equals 1, that's correct. Okay, you should never have to wonder if you're right or not. You can always plug it in to check. All right, some decimals here. Y plus 3.4 equals 0.5. And I may not have mentioned this in our last video, but pause as much as you need. Go back if you need to. I don't expect you to be able to write this whole time without pausing. So if you need to catch up, pause and catch up. All right, y plus 3.4 equals 0.5. So it's connected by addition. We're going to subtract. Okay, different signs, you take the difference. 3.4 minus 0.5 is 2.9. The bigger was negative, so our answer is still negative. Okay, again, you can check yourself to make sure you're right. This is 0.5. All right. Here's some examples for you to try. So what I'd like you to do is pause your video, try these three, and then afterwards check and see if you're right. So I'm going to do them. And I don't know if you paused or not, but it'll serve you well in the long run if you pause to try them yourself. Okay, it's way easier to watch me do them. It's much better for you to try on your own and then just check. All right, so go ahead and pause if you need to, or I would like you to. All right. So, opposite of addition is subtraction. Same sign sum, so this is a -7. Here, opposite of addition is subtraction. Same sign sum, so this is a -6. Opposite of subtraction is addition. -3/4 plus 1/4 is -2/4, or -1/2. Okay. Fractions sometimes freak people out, but they're fine to use. A decimal is fine to use. Fractions are fine to use. Again, if you struggle, you can put these in a calculator. So I'm actually going to show you. You should have a TI-30, or I hope you do. And you will use that TI-30 all through high school, so you might as well invest in it now. But I'm going to pull mine up and show you how to type those in. All right, so here's my calculator. So I'm going to do negative. So this is your negative button. Negative and subtraction, your calculator does know the difference. It's very particular about the difference. So anytime you get a negative, you want to use this one. So negative, and then you have 3/4. You can see all the buttons I pushed up here, but I did a negative. Then this is your fraction button, 3/4, and then you have to right arrow out of it. Okay, so that's red on our screen right now. Then we have plus 1/4. Okay, and it'll give you, oh, that's -1/2. So fractions, again, you're faster if you know how to do them. But at this point in 8th grade, if you need a calculator, use a calculator. Okay, we don't want you stumbling on little things like that. We'd rather you type them in. Because really, we're working on equations now. Our main focus is not fractions any longer. All right, so that's one step by addition and subtraction. So now we're going to talk about multiplication, division. So we're going to do these three together. -1n equals -2. Sometimes you will also see this as just -n. They don't always put the 1. So if there's not a number here, it is a 1. All right, just FYI. These are connected by multiplication. They aren't going to put the multiplication sign in between, but whenever you have a number right next to a variable, they're connected by multiplication. So the opposite, how you get rid of it, is you divide by it. So here, that would cross out, okay? And you have n. -2 divided by -1. Two negatives make a positive. 2 divided by 1 is 2. So +2. All right. 3x equals 9. Again, right next to each other. They're connected by multiplication. The opposite is division. So we're dividing by 3. 9 divided by 3, I hope you know, is 3. Here we go. This one is connected by division. Fractions are the same as division, as a reminder. So a fraction bar is division. The opposite of division is multiplication. So to get rid of it, we will multiply by 4. -7 times 4 is -28. You have one of each, so your final product is negative. All right, so those are the three we've done together. And again, pause whenever you need to. These are the three I want you to try on your own. So go ahead and pause and try them, and then unpause to check. So for this one, you would divide by -2 on both sides. You have one of each, so your final answer is negative. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Here you have a decimal, but that's no big deal. You treat it the same. We're dividing by those 900ths. If you need to, use a calculator. $20. And then last one, we're dividing by 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Okay, that's it for our notes for today. Again, your paper should look like mine. And now you're moving on to your Delta Math assignment.